Hey guys, welcome back to A2D, Agree to Disagree. As always, I'm Michael. I'm here with Brian. All right, last series that we're going to get into today is going to be the Suns and Mavericks. Obviously, these are my boys, man, and I talk about them all the time. I'm really high on them. I'm trying not to be a fanatic this year. I'm trying to be a little chill, but this is the one series that I actually think that I can get a little carried away with. I know that you I know that you're going to sit there and you're going to disagree with me. So I'm going to let you go first. And then I'm going to tell you at the end all the reasons why you're wrong. So I'm going to let you go first. I'm going to let you go first. And then I'll rebuttal. How about that?
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, fuck it, dude. I got Dallas. Honestly, I didn't even have him here in the first place because the Luca injury, the calf. Talking to our calf injury specialist over here. I'm thinking Luca was about to be out, but man, he came back and was he back to his usual Luca ways? But the reason I'm kind of leaning with Dallas is actually not because of Luca. They won without Luca. Jalen Brunson stepped up. They got guys that Spencer Dinwiddie. He can hit big shots. He can handle the ball. And then they got the coldest motherfucker maybe in the world. He's in that conversation too as best players in the world, Luka Doncic, especially offensively. I know defensively he's got some deficiencies, but he bangs, dude. He was in there boxing out Rudy Gobert last night. He works, man, and he's not afraid of the moment. Obviously, down the stretch, you got guys that can hit. You got three guys on Dallas that could make plays. Brunson, Dinwiddie, Luca. You got guys that can make plays. Finney Smith is a good defender, good shooter, good spacer. Where they lack, obviously, I think is inside DeAndre Ayton, who man, he's basically saying, "Pay me," right? That dude he's been earning his money. New Orleans didn't have an answer for him. And speaking of New Orleans, my boy Brandon Ingram, you held it down, young dog, but the future's coming. Don't trip. You guys will be there. But right now, Phoenix, they're just built for this. You saw Chris Paul step up down the stretch. They've been there. They've done that. You got to go through these kind of things, and it's good for them that they went through that. But Phoenix was just too much for him, too deep for him. So here we are. But yeah, man, it's going to be a fun series. I do lean with Luca though, and the Mavs for that reason. I think that they and then, dude, Phoenix, they just it was close. I gave New Orleans credit, but man, it's New Orleans. They were what, a 10 seed, and that was a close. Every game seemed like was pretty dang close, and to be the number one overall seed, finals favorites, all this, that didn't look like it. It definitely didn't look like it. So uh, that's why I'm kind of leaning with Dallas. I think they got some momentum, getting their star back. These guys, they're going. I'll go with Dallas. I think it's going to take them 7 games though. That's for sure.
Okay. So yeah, I found about five things wrong with that one, but I'll take them apart here real quick. Now, hats off to the Pelicans. First off, hats off to the Pelicans. Willie Green, ex-assistant of the Phoenix Suns, man, hats off to that guy. He coached that team really, really well. Brandon Ingram came to play. Jose Alvarado gave Chris Paul fits. There was a lot of physicality in that game. I mean, they were offensive rebounding like a motherfucker in the first couple games. We finally started matching them with size in game 5. We figured it out, and then game 6, we down the stretch, we just proved we were a little bit better of a team. But man, the Pelicans are going to be good next year. So hats off to them. I have nothing bad to say about the Pelicans. I knew that was going to be a tougher series than people thought. They were the 9 seed going into that the play-in series. So that was, and they're missing Zion. So next year, expect them to be maybe, in that top 5 conversation. Going into this series, you're absolutely right about the physicality. No one's going to be able to play with DeAndre Ayton. 2 things here. Dude's looking to get paid, and dude is still looking to prove that he was the overall first pick over Luka Doncic back in, what was that, 2019. He still has things to prove that
Hey, dude,
deserved that
chill.
number 1 pick.
There's
Now,
nothing he could do to say anybody would not take Luca over him. He's gonna make a difference, man. And
well, first of all, we
he's
had Devin Booker, and we had different players at the time, so we needed size and we needed a center. That's why we went DeAndre Ayton. Number 3, Okay. So back in this Pelicans series, Booker got hurt in the third quarter of that game 2, and we had a 10-point lead. We won game 1 by a double-digit lead. Booker goes down. Games 2, 3, and 4 were difficult for us. Game 5, we came out, we beat them up pretty good. And then game 6, Booker came back, wasn't Devin Booker. I think that series is different. I think that they finished it in 5 if Booker was there. And I think it would have been a little bit easier of a series. Devin Booker kills Dallas. I think he's averaging something ridiculous like 28 points a game. Since DeAndre Ayton's been drafted and Luka Doncic has been drafted, they play against each other. Phoenix is 7-1 against them. They are going to come out and they're going to beat them up. They're not going to be able to start DeAndre Ayton. And I haven't even mentioned Chris Paul, the point god. 14 for 14, 33 points, 8 assists in a closeout game on the road. I'm not going to go into the bench. I'm not going to go into Jay Crowder. I'm not going to go into all the physicality. I'm not going to go into all that. Our top 5 against their top 5, we're a better team. We have a better bench. They're better coached. Down the line, they have home court. Booker's healthy now. Going down the stretch, we're going to absolutely rock them. I have Phoenix in 5 because I'm not going to sit here and be a fanatic. But this is the series that I'm going to be a fanatic in because the Mavericks played the Jazz, man. The Jazz fell apart down the stretch. You know, we all thought Donovan Mitchell, we were waiting for Donovan Mitchell to be that star, and he never was in that series. So for that to go 6 was actually surprising. The only reason that went 6 was because Luka was out. Now with Brunson and Finney Smith and all these other guys, like I understand, Finney Smith's a good 3-and-D guy. I understand. We have a couple of those too. And, you know, a couple of those guys aren't being mentioned for Defensive Player of the Year and all that other stuff. Bridges in the last 2 games is 6 for 6 from 3 and absolutely playing like a fucking dog. So when you talk about talent, it's no comparison. We have home court. We're gonna go go back to Dallas 2-0. Dallas could win a game in Dallas. Phoenix can come back into Phoenix and in 5 get ready for Golden State and or Memphis. That's how this is gonna go. That's how this is gonna go. I'm willing to wager anybody. Anybody wants to come at me. This is the series I'm going to be a little bit of a fanatic in. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Because Luka is a great player. I don't think he's the best player in this series. I don't at all. I think he's a great player. I don't think he's the best player in this series. And I don't think he's going to play like that.
You think Chris Paul is the guy that got held to 4 points by Alvarado?
He also got held to 33 points on 14 for 14 shooting against that same Alvarado. But he did.
Forget about this game, but only talk about this game.
In a closeout game, he did.
Okay.
He did.
Okay.
They don't have anybody that's going to stop Chris Paul or Devin Booker. We have somebody that can match up with Luka Doncic, and it's going to happen.
Who?
Jay Crowder and or Mikal Bridges. I think both of them can.
Well, okay. He's going to have his way.
We swept Dallas this year very easily. We went. I think we swept them last year too.
And struggled against a 9 seed or a 10 seed?
In the last 3, but that 9 seed, let's be real with each other. That 9 seed wasn't a real 9 seed. They were one of the better teams after the All-Star break. After they picked up CJ McCollum, they became a lot better. So and they have a lot of young rookies that came into their own way. So that 9 seed they ended up being an 8 seed. We can talk about that until you're blue in the face. They were better than and they're going to be a top 4 or 5 team next year when Zion comes back. They're well coached. That team picked it up down the stretch. You know, and I said before that series, I said, I am not going to count them out of even winning that series because that is a definite trap series from Phoenix. And they came out of it flying colors, man. So
there were some tight games, man.
So
that was a fun series to watch, actually.
Yeah.
I was glad to see Brandon Ingram rise to the moment, but Chris Paul he was just too much in the close game.
Whereas, you know, and the Dallas-Utah series, you know, I expected Donovan Mitchell to show up and be that guy and be the leader. And I don't think they have a true leader on that team. I think Rudy's gone after this year. I think they're going to blow the entire thing up. I think that, and the coach is gone. I think that they're going to blow up the entire. So I think you just saw it in that series. You know, with Luka out, we did sit here and say the Jazz had a better chance in that series, but Luka came back earlier than expected. In this series, man, it's not going to matter. Phoenix is the better team. They have no problems with Dallas. They haven't had trouble with Dallas the last 3 years because the matchups. We have size, we have shooting, we have defense. They're better coached. They have home. There is no reason for Phoenix not to make easy work. It's going to be a very similar series to that Denver series last year. It's almost the exact same thing. They have that one superstar, and once you figure out how to shut them down, it's going to be easy work.
We'll see, man. They were able to get a win, or I think multiple wins without Luka. So I think they're more than that. That's
that
kind
won't
of
happen
why I
against
think
Phoenix. That won't happen against Phoenix.
No, not
Brunson,
Phoenix.
Brunson can go for
there
40,
will
and
be
we can match them up.
Yeah, no, not against Phoenix. There's no way in hell.
So,
but I mean, we'll see. We're gonna find out. That's for sure. I think Luka's man. Shit, he's. You can put whoever you want on him. They tried Kawhi on him. He scored on literally everybody. There hasn't been a single answer for that. So it's not
I don't
like
think we
there's one.
stop him. I don't think we stop him, but I don't think he's going to sit there and average the 40 a game he's going to need to win this series. That's not going to happen.
I don't think he's gonna need to. It comes down to the other guys. That's why I was talking about the other guy.
But
If they
who's
hit
going to stop
shots,
Phoenix? Who's going to stop Phoenix? Who's going to stop Booker?
yeah, that was a good point.
Kenny
Who's
Smith
Finney
because
Smith
he
right now?
hasn't
Yeah,
yet.
who's he gonna guard? They need. You know who they need is Tim Hardaway Jr. Man, he's a solid two-way player, but even then he'd have his hands full, obviously. And then Jalen Brunson, it's not like he's a defender like that. He doesn't bring the energy that Alvarado brings or anything like that. He's more of an offensive type of guy, and that's what kind of kept New Orleans in it is their defenders. They had their two offensive guys, and they had their guys that really focused on defense, and they embraced those roles. Dallas, who's their defender? I hear you on that, and it just got me thinking about that. Who is their defender that's going to step up, other than Finney Smith? And he ain't that guy. So,
and
I think
Booker puts that guy on skates every single time they put him up against each other. And then that pick and roll, man, that lob to Ayton, that lob to McGee, Cam Johnson. I mean, you mentioned it. We're going to come after you, and we're going to come with size. We can run on you. We can make it a half court game.
I know
this is the
you're
series.
making them seem like the champs already and everything, but man, they just struggled with the Pelicans here. Nobody even knew who Alvarado was until he played the Suns.
If you watch basketball, you did. If you watch basketball, you know what you're talking about. I
knew about they have their other guy. They have their shooter. What's his name? The dude from Kansas. They have their shooter, dude that always rocks the headband, number 4, Graham, or whatever. Like he's had some big scoring games. He comes off the bench. Like they got 3 point guards, and their third point guard comes in and fucking all of a sudden is a household name.
Well, that's what they needed. In the playoffs,
Herb Jones locking shit up.
In the playoffs, you need that guy, that the unsung hero that is going to come out of nowhere and be that guy. Well, the thing about Phoenix, they don't really have a no-name guy. Like they have a pretty deep roster. You know who Mikal Bridges is. You know who Landry Shamet is. You know who these guys are because they've been role players for teams for a long time. Well, when you're a young team, when you're rookies, you really don't know who these guys are until it comes down to it. But Jose Alvarado's been doing that corner, sneak around shit the entire year. And he's been a great defender. And, I know you had Phoenix in 6 in that series, and I had Phoenix in 5. That was before Booker went down, but we had it being, and I said it's going to be a tougher series than people think it's going to be because they're young, they're hungry, and the number one thing, they're well coached. And Willie Green was our assistant coach last year, and he knows Phoenix. So I knew that was going to be a tougher series than people thought. This next one is not going to be. This next one's not. This is going to be our easiest series.
That defense in Phoenix is going to need to sharpen up because Ingram had his way, did whatever the hell he wanted. And CJ kind of worked too.
Tough shots.
So like CJ worked too.
I disagree with
CJ. And Brandon Ingram, Luka Doncic, like Luka's. I love BI. I actually like both these players a lot, but Luka's at this stage is a little bit more advanced offensively than Ingram is. So if y'all struggled with him, like what's Luka gonna do? And then,
but their defense
is hit big shots after big shots after big shots. Brunson and Dinwiddie can do this. You put those two together, and that's about as good of a CJ McCollum, that's for sure. So
because the Mavericks don't play defense. The Mavericks don't play defense. They don't play defense. They're not going to be able to match it. The Pelicans had young defensive players, Herb Jones, Jose Alvarado. When those guys were in the game, and then they had the two towers, Valanciunas and Larry Nance. As soon as Coach Monty realized, like, hey, let's match him with the two towers in Game 5, what happened? That series changed again. It's going to be different.
What's his name? Kleba, 42. That big dude on Dallas. Didn't he have like a 25 something point game against Utah? You're talking about these unsung guys, man.
Okay.
He's one of those guys. They
I
got
feel
Powell
coming
inside
on. If it
too,
goes
number
past
7.
if it goes past 5, I'll be shocked.
Okay, we're gonna find out. It's gonna be a fun series, man. Let's go, Luka. Take him out.
He's gonna have to play his fucking mind out. Like BI had
He's gonna average. He'll average close to a triple double. He doesn't need to score like him dominating the scoreboard. That's not really his game, but he doesn't need to. He can average around a triple double, and it's about the other guys. Dinwiddie needs to show up. Brunson needs to keep showing up. Finney Smith, you better play some defense on Booker because if you let Booker go off, that's gonna be trouble. So, but Chris Paul too, man. Brunson, he can't guard that. But Brunson can get him in foul trouble. He's a pretty crafty guy. They're kind of similar, but obviously point guard. He's the point guard. I'll give it to him of this generation. He's the best of this era. That's for damn sure in the point guard department. Steph Curry, got your Curry fans that'll probably chime in. He's almost a different position though. It's hard to even call him a point guard. That dude is like different. So, but all time, well, that's another story for another day. We'll get into that. We'll get into that another time. I got Dallas though, man. I'm going with Dallas. We already know Phoenix, and I'm surprised he didn't call it a sweep, big homie. But
I won't call it a sweep only because I'm trying to be fair. And Dallas did play a really good series, and we did struggle with Brandon Ingram. So Brandon Ingram had probably the best week of his life, games 1 through 4. Games 5 and 6, not so much. So I mean, he was hitting big shots. He was hitting shot. He was playing well. And then games 5 and 6, he only scored like 23 and 20 something points. He wasn't going for 35 and 40. And CJ McCollum, he cooled off after game 2 or 3. So, you realized who the better team was in that series, obviously. But the Pelicans, again, I said it was going to be a very tough series. They're almost like a kryptonite to us. They beat us. I watched that game in New Orleans. They beat us. I've watched Dallas play against us, and I don't see that team being able to compete with us. I do see them being able to run a momentum game 3 or game 4 and Luka shoots the lights out and beating us. I don't see it happening all series long. I don't see it happening. And he's going to need to.
Still one in Phoenix. They're going to still one in Phoenix. At worst, it goes 2-2. Might even be 3-1 Dallas. Dallas in 7. Let's go, Luka.
Next week's paycheck. I'll bet you my next week's paycheck that there's no way they go to 3-1. Absolutely no way.
I'm not that confident in Dallas. And
I'm 100% confident in my guys.
And I agree with you that the more well-rounded team is Phoenix, but the best player is Luka, and they got some sneaky playmakers in Dallas. Jason Kidd, question mark there. We'll see, but man, like I said, I'm not backing down from it. It's not so much that I love Dallas so much. It's just that I saw vulnerability in Phoenix this last series, and I don't think that they are. Everyone hypes up. Oh, this regular season we were the best.
I'm gonna enjoy our Western Conference take. Western Conference Finals take. I'm just gonna say that right now.
And then even if they get to Golden State, come on, then Golden State's gonna go ahead and
Golden State automatically is gonna beat Memphis now, huh? And that's if Memphis is there.
Golden State's on their way to the finals. There's levels to this. But yeah, man. I mean, anyways, I'm with Dallas. We already know where Michael stands with it. Let's see. Where do you guys stand with it? What side are you guys on? You think Luka has a chance, or is Phoenix too much? They too deep. Big 8 is gonna be too much for him inside. So what do you guys think? Make sure you smash on that subscribe button. Comment. Let us know who you guys have, and then stay tuned. We got one more series we got coming up. We're gonna get into we got who we know. It's going to be potentially Grizzlies or Timberwolves. Are the Timberwolves going to come back? We can see who's going to take on Golden State, but we'll get in that next. Stay tuned, and yeah, let's go, Luka.
105.